feeling in need of a bit of a journey into the inner nature world. So let's go together on this meditation. So if you are in that zone of taking about 10 minutes right now to breathe a little bit and go into an imagination zone, then let's begin. So let's start by looking at this universe. It got taken away. Hold on. Okay, so let's lie down and find a comfy zone to feel chill in. If you can, find something to put over your eyes so that you have some darkness. And let's take some moments to get to that. So feel the places that are kind of feeling more tense and just remind them to rest and relax into that. So let's take some breaths together. And as you breathe out, just rest your shoulders and neck. Rest all of your joints into the body, into the ground. And with each exhale, release more muscles and joints and feelings. Let's take one more together. Much better. So we're sitting on this little hill with this pine forest around us, and we're looking out over the landscapes that we've already come across. So I'm really losing battery here. Feel our body slowly relax into this space. And so I want you to imagine that the sun is coming slowly onto your toes. It's coming up. We were in the dark, we were in the nighttime. The sun is coming slowly. You can feel it on your toes and your feet. It's coming slowly onto your ankles and warming your ankles and calming them. This warm, golden, orange light is coming onto your calves. And onto your knees. It's surrounding your knees in warm, golden light. It's coming onto your legs. Your hips, you can feel it filling your body with warmth. Into your belly. And fill your belly with that warm light. And your chest. And you can feel it. Golden, orange, and yellow. This happy light coming up into your throat. Somewhere we often hold a lot of tension is our throat and shoulders. Just take a deep breath and let it out gently. It's coming through your fingertips and hands, up your arms and your elbows. Up into your shoulders and up your neck onto your face. And you can feel it gentle on your cheeks, and your cheeks relax. Relax your jaw. Imagine that warm light is just making everything it touches rest and calm. And relaxing your tongue in your mouth and your eyelids and your eyebrows. We also hold a lot of tension in our foreheads. Even the smallest amount of muscle change can change the way that your shape of your face is, the expression on your face. So just relax your forehead and the crown of your head. It's all covered and filled with this warm, golden, yellow, orange sunlight. And as we take the next deep breath, we're going to open our eyes into that scene. So we're seeing this mountains below us, these kind of hills. We saw that whole redwood forest that we came through. You can see it from above now because we've climbed quite a ways up this mountain. So you see the redwood forest and all the tops of the trees. It's so special to watch trees from the top because to be higher than a redwood is to be very high up. And you see these birds come from where you're sitting and they just let go and soar over top of the forest, and you watch their wings, the way that they barely move, and it changes direction completely. You have so much subtle control, and you just watch those birds flying over that forest. They just have this release when they go off of those cliffs. They put their wings out, and with complete confidence, they know exactly how to move. And you watch them flying. You can hear their wings flap when they release off of the cliff beside you. When they let go. And you feel that letting go. You can feel it in your body, like you're the one flying. And there's many of them. Eagles and falcons and hawks. All these soaring birds. And you hear them making their calls that echo. The green of the trees in the distance, and you can still see the red of all of their branches and the trunks of the trees. And you can see so far. You can see all the way to the sand dunes that we saw, that we went through, that meet the ocean. And from there you can see where the sun is rising, that was touching your whole body, each part at a time. And it's slowly coming up. You can see the sun shining off of the bottoms of the birds' wings. They're catching the light because the sun is so low. And little new sounds of the morning start to come. Little insects that are buzzing around. You can hear the trees moving against each other in the new wind of the day. And they're creaking. You know how trees creak sometimes? They echo through the valley. And more birds just drop off. They're having their morning breakfast. And then there's lots of little like little woodpeckers in the distance. And you hear like little hummingbirds fly past you. There's lots of birds. It's early morning. So you really get lots of sounds of birds. And you decide that you're going to stand up from this clearing. You take a last glance at this incredible view. You can even see the olive tree from way back in the distance. And then you start to go into the forest and the sound changes. It becomes kind of this deafened sound. You can still hear all these animals, but it's like that echo becomes muted in this really subtle way. Suddenly it's your own breath and your own heart that you can hear as well. You can hear the sound of your feet on this soft forest floor. And so you continue walking along this little path. And you feel these trees as you pass. You pluck off a little bit of this long pine needle. Pine needles are the really long ones. And you bend it and crush it in your hand. And then you take a smell of that pine smell. And it's so foresty. It smells like the color of deep green and white at the same time. It's like somehow both things, this fresh smell. And you can smell where all of that has been before, these crushed needles underneath your feet. And sometimes you can feel a little pine cone that you pick up, and you take it and you look at it. Each little different piece of that. It's almost like you could pluck them out, but you just hold it and then toss it to the side, and you pick up another one and you toss it to the side, and you can hear the sound of the clickety-clackety of it falling on the ground and the rocks. And as you continue walking the forest, the feeling of the forest isn't warmed up yet, so there's this cool air that kind of comes in and drifts past you here and there. It's in this shadow, the shadow cold of the morning. It's this feeling. There's some of the trees are even almost a little bit hinted blue. And you keep walking and you're still gaining altitude a little bit. And then in the far, far, far distance, you can hear the sound of water. It's like really, really subtle, but it's kind of a babbling, moving water. So you continue to walk towards that. And every once in a while, the trees break. And again, you can see out over that huge view that you could see. There's nothing quite like it. You get these glimpses of places that you've been, things that you've seen, feelings that you've had. And you can feel this marked understanding of each of them because of the journey that brought you here. And it's a wonderful place to see. It's like your whole little past has something you can turn around and look at. And you keep walking. The wind comes by your legs. Every once in a while, it finds its way through the trees. And you can still hear little birds. Little pine cones getting knocked down by animals that are passing. And the creek is getting louder and louder as you get closer. It's so nice. There's pieces of grass that soften the path a little bit. And then you hear more and more of this sound. So as you continue on, you can hear that it's getting really, really quite a lot louder to your left. So you decide to go towards that, the sound of this creek, this babbling creek. So you turn in and it becomes louder. There's these little strawberries growing on the ground. So you reach down and you pick a little strawberry. The wild ones are so small, but they have so much flavor. And you hear something rustle and you look up and there's a deer going through the forest, and it's so calm. It knows you're there, but it knows that you are also part of this forest structure. So it's not afraid of you. So you gather some strawberries, and as you walk towards the creek, you put one little strawberry in your mouth at a time. There's lots of seeds, and you can taste this burst of super fresh berry flavor. It's like the taste of what spring and summer meeting is. It's that exact flavor. It's like if the solstice had a flavor, it would be the flavor of a wild strawberry. And you continue to walk. And this sound gets louder and louder. And as you come to the edge of this babbling creek, you've been kind of watching the ground as you go. But then you see these rocks and you see the creek and there's moss, and then you look up and there's this waterfall coming through these karst rocks, these like limestone, really, really like dark gray with some kind of white pieces that come through them, but they're really rugged, really mountain, like alpine rocks. And the water is just like coming through that. It's kind of smashing through. It's making so much sound. It's almost making your ears ring, like you can only hear the sound of this waterfall. And you look at it and you watch how each rock changes the shape of the waterfall in this like really intense way. Some places where it's like bursting out, almost like the water forcefully found its way through that spot and like created its own path. And there's even a piece of the waterfall that comes out another side where it's like made a hole inside of the rock. And it's pouring out at full speed. And it's like you can feel this feeling of yourself, feeling like somewhere you want to be soaring like those birds, and somewhere you also want to be like breaking through a rock with your feelings and desires and ideas and creations. And you can be that water. That is you. You can pour through rocks with everything you've got. It's inspiring to watch waterfalls. They know how to find their own way. They know where they want to go, and they go there. They create their own path. And you're facing this waterfall. You're walking towards where the water is coming from, towards the source. So you're watching something that began and found its way to where you are now. So we're going to continue to follow that water in the opposite direction that it's coming. But for now, we're going to sit and rest by a pine tree while we watch this water pouring through and think about how each course and direction that water found has created a path to where it is today and now, and that it's exactly where it's supposed to be and doing exactly what it's supposed to be. So let's have a little lie down beside this creek in this mossy pine needle forest. You can smell the pine, the needles. You can smell that green moss and that water that's just alpine, crystal cold water, as cold as it gets. And take some deep breaths and let them go. So in through the nose. And out through the mouth. And relax all of your body as if that water is just rushing over you and cooling you and making you feel refreshed. And out through the mouth. And we will see you tomorrow. Relax your bodies and love your ideas. Till then.